Hi everyone, welcome back to this week's video. It is Mark here from Digital Groove Online. Last week's video seemed to go down really well, so I'm going to keep it short and simple again for this week, and it's another technique we can use within mixing. It's parallel compression, and it's used to make a lot of sounds pop through the mix, in particular drums and percussion, and that's what we're going to focus on this week. So before we jump into that, I just want to make you aware, if you go over to my website, which I will link in the description below, I'm giving away a free Ableton rack, and that helps with pads and textural effects. And it's just one knob, one or two knobs, and you turn it, and it gives you that nice. If you play audio through it and you turn the knob to the right hand side, it gives you a lovely atmospheric texture, and you can resample that back into your project. If you head on over to the website digitalgrooveonline.com, go to free stuff, enter your email address, and I will send that to you personally. So now we're going to jump into the parallel compression side of things. It started off in 1965 and became popular in the late 80s and early 90s in dance music, in particular house music. So we're going to think about why we might apply this here. The technique is to take a signal and pass it through to a compressor, and we're going to really squash the dynamics out of those signals that are being fed into the compressor. And the aim of this is to blend the dry signal and the wet signal together, and it gives you that really fat and full sound. If you do just over compress something, you take the dynamics out of the track, and dynamics is the difference between the loud parts and the quieter parts within the audio, and that's why we're blending the two of those together, because if we keep the transients and the punchiness of the original sound, and then we take the squashed sound and we mix that in, we get a blend of both the original and the wet signal, and it becomes really fat. So I'm going to do a before and after comparison now. So the before I will play first of all, and once it loops across once or twice, I will switch to the after. Now, I do recommend that you put on a good set of headphones or have a good set of speakers in front of you to really hear, because it is quite subtle but very effective. So let's have a listen. So you can hear the drums in that mix are completely popping out of it, and it just sounds way more fuller, and I'm going to take you across how to do that now. Just to keep things moving quickly, I have already just selected some samples from within one of my sample libraries and brought them in just to speed things up and mix them sort of there, and I have grouped those drums together. So how do we achieve that sound? So what we want to do then is we want to group the drums together. You can take the kick drum out of it if you like, and just do the percussion. I've just done it over the whole group in this instance, and I'm just going to then right click over here and add in a return track. Okay, this return track we're going to call parallel. Hopefully I've spelled that right. And on the parallel return track then we are going to add a compressor. Just a standard Ableton compressor is good. You can experiment with different ones and you'll get slightly different results. So what do we do then? We're going to select this option down here, turn it into more of a wave view, and then we're going to switch on the makeup gain here, because when we pull down the threshold we want that loudness to be pushed back up again. We're going to keep the ratio quite high, about 19 or 20 would be fine, and we're going to keep the attack short and the release probably where it is would be fine for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do then is I'm going to just solo over here with the parallel compression is being done, and we're going to solo that so that whenever we push up B, sorry, is it B? Yeah, it is B. The B send, it's going to send that signal from the drums over to the compressor, and we're going to hear that more compressed, squashed sound. Okay, and as we push that in, okay, we're going to pull down the threshold here, and we should just start to hear that loudness and the squash, just compressed effect. Once we get it sort of where we like it, we're going to pull down the send again back to 0, And then we're going to play the track and we're going to mix that send back in, okay? And you can also control it over here for loudness as well, just at the tail end. So let's just hear the compressed signal then. So let's hit play. Okay, that sounds quite similar to the original right now. And that is because we need to pull this down and squash it. So I'm going to bring that back a bit. We just want to come down over those peaks. Just pull at it again. Just somewhere underneath the highest peak and just above the lowest peak would be enough there. Okay, and we should have a nice squash sound. In fact, I'm going to do this a slightly different way. I'm going to pull this down here so I can push the send right up. Yeah, just so we can see the signal. We'll keep the send up then and we'll just use the mixer over this side. I'm going to pull this back up. I'll keep it about there. So the line is going across the lowest part of the actual waveform down there, and then we're squashing the tops right down on that. Okay, and I'm going to use this then to mix it in. Okay, so I'm going to take these all back off again, and we're going to play everything together, and then we're going to mix in the wet signal. So let's have a listen to that. We should hear it starting to beef up and sound really big. Off. Off again. Back on. So it absolutely keeps the transients there, keeps the dynamics in the actual mix of the drums, and blends in that wet signal, and you hear some of the lower percussion sounds all coming up in the background. It just makes it smack right through the mix. A short video this week, but a really useful mixing technique. Why don't you go and try it out and let me know in the comments below. It was really nice to see some people commenting last week and asking questions on the last tutorial last week on the pink noise. So yeah, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the bottom in the comment. Don't forget to check out the Digital Groove Online website and download the rack. Until next week, see you then.